That's close. Really close. You guys have to let me know if the stream's working. 25 minutes. Six times. Peace. Dang. I can't believe it all fit. I tell you what, I tell you that truck, you gotta have 6 foot. I mean, trust me. I'd like to have bigger, but you just got 6 foot, man. Every time I'm like 5.5, 5. Nope, can't do it. At 6 foot, just I'm a little weird. I get really excited because this truck has hauled more stuff than my big trucks. It's really weird how that works. You just make it work. You know, is it perfect? No, but it's just fun. Because it's like that little truck, man. It costs nothing. It gets good gas mileage. It's low. It's easy to work on. The kids love it, and I can park it on a dime anywhere. It's just the door edge. I don't know, man. It just works great. You know what I mean? So this is what we'll take up tomorrow. I think that'll work out good. What's with the carts? You missed it on the other live. So we got these. This one's just for like we need another cart for a commercial. I kid you not, Evan. We literally had to walk a quarter mile in this building. So huffing all our tools and everything and all the stuff. What the hell is that? Little baby rabbits under my van. And then we gotta bring temp fence in this building. And I mean, we carried pipe after pipe after pipe. With how many guys did we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. We had 4 guys. It was a lot of huffing, man. A lot of huffing. So I'm hoping that we can use these racks with wheels on them. These got wheels on them down below, carts. I just went and picked them up today. So we can use those carts to move these because these are 12 foot wide. Oh, there goes the rabbit. See if he's running. He's running. There he goes. He's running. Little white tail rabbit. Get it, rabbit. Run. So what we're doing is we gotta bring this temp fence inside the building. I'd give you pictures, but we can't do that. That's top secret government stuff. So all these are going to go in. These are 12 foot by 6 foot temp fence. And so what I was explaining is because this is an emergency job, and then there's all the bases. You know, this is one of those jobs that's going to be super high paying, and it's government. So, and right now, they're like the government mode right now. Like they don't care. They're just like, we don't care the price. Like we're in war times right now, so we got government money. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So they need it like ASAP. They said they'd have it by the end of Monday to make it happen. So no price, just make it happen. Name your price. All right, not a problem. So I think the racks will help. We'll put them in there. I don't think we're gonna have to go quite as far, possibly, but I don't want to be caught with my pants down, man. That was a lot of. Even Cap was like, he seen my wheels on my bag I had, tool bag, and he's like, "Where'd you get that?" He's like, "I might have to get one." I told him, I said, "You want one with wheels?" I said, "I got like 2 extras." I said, "It'd be nice for these commercial." I'm like, "Hell yeah, they're nice for commercial." That's why I got one. It's like when you gotta walk in a commercial building, you gotta go through a ground level door. It's a long walk with all your tools in a bucket. No, thank you, sir. And so then, with the changing times, right? We have to. I was talking to Cap. I told him, I said, we need a mailbox out there because he was telling me how we had a customer that he's not a customer anymore, but I know these customers come and go. And he said he's a real pain in my butt. He says he always wants a printed out estimate, and then he wants to meet me at the shop. And he's like, I ain't got time to meet at the shop. He's like, So I told him, I said, for exchanging, what we'll do is we'll get this mailbox. Which it just needs to happen because we get customers that'll stop. Oh, what's it do? It already comes with letters. No, it comes with the diagram or whatever. Oh, it comes. You can put numbers on it. That's nice. That's a nice feature. These are actually cut out numbers on there. So you can put numbers on it. That's pretty cool. So what we'll do is we'll mount it. Hey, I see we got 2 likes too. Don't forget to hit the like button. What the hell are these black marks from? Must be a. But anyways, we'll mount it like roughly here. You know what I mean? So don't forget to hit the like button if you would, please. If you're cruising through. I see a few of you pop in here and there. So anyways, we'll get this. Got the mailbox. And I think we really need one with locks. We got cameras. It's just for a little bit of stuff. Oh, is it for ice? No, they make big turbines for all the jets and stuff. So I guess they blew up a lot of people's stuff, so now they need to rebuild, right? Something like that. So we're gonna get a mailbox out there, even though we got a regular mailbox, but that one will work nice for customers coming and going. Or I had to recently do it because they had to let go of one of the guys, and they had detective stuff and whatever was going on. And, we're just not always here 100% of the time, even though it's been more lately. We're getting a lot of walk-in customers, but yeah. So I'm just trying to get riled up for Monday. So that way I got everything done. I can just swing in Monday and I'm like, yo, what's up? And then it's like, we out. Mr. Caleb's got the van. He's already going to come in a little early, at least for his standards. And he will meet us up at the job tomorrow to help unload. We got a dump truck coming, dump trailer, and another driver. So we should have a helper from the builder, which will be nice. But I don't think we're going to get 2 guys. I think we're going to get 1 guy. What about you, Mr. Evan? What do you got lined up? You got anything lined up for Monday? Monday's forecast? It's pretty nice out here. I think tomorrow's supposed to be like 70. Oh, it's the wrong door. Wrong door. Really? They said we need hard hats. I really don't want to bring them. Gotta bring my safety glasses. One of these Milwaukee's. These things are nice. Milwaukee high vis. It's comfortable. So I definitely recommend it. It was like $50, but this is Milwaukee. So bring that. Should I bring the hard hats? Man, they say we don't need hard hats. I just hate to bring them and something change. Maybe like, oh, you're in a certain spot, or somebody else, big dog, says something. I don't know. I'll just bring them if I can. I got a little bit of room. I ain't got much room in the truck. 4 likes. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much for hitting that like button. I really do appreciate it. It really makes my Sunday. Maybe if we get up to like 5 or 10, I'll show you a cat picture. Facility. I wonder what Evan's got. He's taking Monday. I know you worked. What'd you work this weekend already, didn't you? Throw that in there. Make a mess. I need a day of cleaning. So much stuff. Got that. I think I wanted something about the washers, possibly. Oh, can't forget our safety glasses. Oh, what do we got here? Megan. Megan says hi. Hello, Megan. Hope you're doing good. How's your weekend? How's your day? Anything? Have fun? Work? Anything? Throw in the comments. We're loosey-goosey today. Oh, facility. Doing good. Awesome. Where are you from? City, state, country? What else do we got? I got water. I wanted the battery. That's what I wanted. I wanted that battery off that other saw. Don't forget, too, if you could, Megan, hit the like button. We're up to 4. We're shooting for 5, but we really like 10. Oh my gosh! that's going to be interesting. Now I think of it. Because if we do get done tomorrow, maybe I should grab the hitch. I didn't think about that. Uncle Dave, what's up? Steven, how you doing? What's new? Tell me what's going on in your world. Let's get a debate or a conversation. I feel like getting fired up a little bit. Battery, got a couple more supposedly coming in Monday. 12 volts. Go in this truck. But I probably should grab the hitch. Now I think of it, because if we do need to drag that blue trailer back, we'll go grab the hitch. I think. You guys think of something. Think of some of the old comments, huh? Hey, I see we got 5 likes too. Thank you. Megan, is your day going? It's going great. You know, every day. I'm not a big birthday person. I just look at every day as a birthday. Every day you wake up, man, it's another blessing, right? Another day you get to hang out maybe with your mom or dad or your loved ones. Um, it's a good day. Ooh, did a broken spring? How'd it go? Smooth. Go smooth. Poor Caleb was doing some doors this week. He got kicked in the hiney. He needs a low headroom, so he's got a little bit of learning to do. You know what I mean? Those details, man. I cannot express enough that your details have to be very, very, very thorough. You know, it's almost like that first. It's like that low is always beat in my head. You know, it's like your first 10 minutes is most important, and your last 10 minutes. Well, that's for install. But when you're there doing a detail, the whole damn thing's important. You know what I mean? Possibly an opener Wednesday. Another guy wants his sprocket replaced in his LM1260. So replace an opener. Evan, does he want to do it because he wants to save some money, or is it just? I'm just curious. I never had a problem replacing sprockets. I'd always ask the customer. I'm like, you know, I'd always tell them. I tell them, everything been working great, and they're like, yeah. I'm like, you got the remotes, everything. I mean, like you're happy with it, and they're like, yeah. And I tell them, I go, all right. I go, well then let's just replace the gear. It's cheaper, and you know, just work from there. Subscribe and like. Thank you, Megan. Appreciate it. Welcome to the community. We're glad to have you here. More welcome to ask anything. Out truck. So, yeah. But gear kits, I don't know what's going to happen for the future with those things when they're just the gear and the motor together. I just change out the whole unit. Those gear and those kits, so the gear and the motors are kind of expensive. You know what I mean? 850. She says those things are terrible. Yeah, boy, it's getting gnarly. I've been thinking either we try the Genies, or I'm sorry, not the Genies. We already do Genie. Guardian. Thought about trying some Guardians. Marantec or a Bear. I think they're a Bear to set up, but boy, I tell you what, a couple I've had. The bad thing with Marantec too is their trolley system. I didn't really look too close at the Guardian, but you know it's hard to beat the LiftMaster trolley system. It's simple, it's metal, it's understandable for Americans. Yeah, it's tough. He said he replaced the one in his other opener, and since most parts are still available, I'd rather keep it. You know, the boards are discontinued. Yeah, yeah. It's funny how they do that, isn't it? I think that's what they're going to do to us. I think that's what they're going to start forcing down us. I see in the future. I've been hearing about car parts becoming hard. I know there's a few car parts that are hard to find for the Nissan here. And holy cow, what we got? 5 likes. Don't forget to hit the like button if you wouldn't mind. See if we can get it up to 10. We got about 10 people on. We got about 5 likes. Just helps wake up the algorithm, brings more people in, more conversation, more debate, more fight, more Americana, more humans, more spirit. Ooh, got a heart too. Dang. Well, I think I'm gonna grab this hitch while you guys are thinking for a second. It's pretty nice out here. Good hoodie weather. I'm watching this tree that needs to get cut down and throw crap all over the roof of this shop. I wish I had more time right now because this is good chopping weather. We busy. We busy. Wayne Dalton? I don't know what Wayne Dalton is. It's made. I've been to the plant down in Ohio. You know, I was kind of thinking about it. You know, they all got their quirks. You know what I mean? It's kind of like brake pads. You don't really care, only if it stops you. As long as it does the job, doesn't get the wheels too dirty. Oh, the pool. Where are you, Megan? Whereabouts? What state? Is it warm? I've been thinking, man, the boat sounds good lately, and I wasn't really thinking so much the pool. I was thinking water being warmer, so to get the boat out. Boat and I don't know. Still a little on the chilly side. All right, I'll grab that hitch. 16. Holy cow, we got 6 likes. You guys are so generous. Can we please get to 10? Don't make me beg. Don't make me get on my knees. Don't make me have to show you that cat picture. We got a cat up there working with us right now. I'll be back. I'm not going too far, just right here. Well, I want to make sure we got some washers. So we got washers, got some batteries. Cannot forget the gloves. The gloves are a must for tomorrow. I'll throw them in the Nissan, I think, here. Thing. It's probably a good thing for no passengers. I don't think I got no passengers tomorrow because, woo-wee, man. This morning, not complaining. Love cooler weather. The cooler weather is nice. I do like kind of the hoodie weather, so you're not sweating too bad. 66. Holy cow! It's probably about 60. Is my guess. I think the lakeshore is keeping us cooler because the way must be maybe the way the wind's coming. Because today I had to go out to St. John's, St. John's, and that's quite a ways. It's a big bird, man. Is that a bald eagle? No, it's not a bald eagle. I had to go out towards the middle of the state. I got about halfway, which is 131, and I was thinking to myself, like, man, if I spark up a conversation with somebody, I need a sweater, and I just wore a polo shirt, and so I stopped at Family Farm and Home, and I just started walking up to the door, and I was like, it's not really that bad out. I was like, man, earlier it felt cold. It must be warming up. Got out more farther towards the middle of the state, up there in Michigan, and I started having to roll the window down. Like the sun's coming out, it's hitting through the vehicle. I'm like, man, it's warm. Like I gotta roll the window down. Must have warmed up. Anyways, on the way back, hit about that 131, that highway. I was like, starting to feel kind of cold. So I was like, it's gotta be the lakeshore keeping us cold right now with the water, the Lake Michigan, the body of water. So Austin, what's the estimated cost for doing startup DIY? Ooh, I don't know. Austin, whereabouts are you located? I'm just curious. You know, it's one of those things I always talk about on the channel. I see we got 7 people too, roughly. So don't forget, if we can hit that like, we got 6 likes. So if you can, we're trying for 10. I really appreciate it. But Austin, thank you for the question. It's a great question. You know, I still have the feeling in my, you know, like 30. You know what I mean? Can you do less? I mean, here's a good one. Evan, what do you feel like? I know Canada's a little different, but what would you feel like just with what you know now? If you said, if I'm going to start up again, I was going to start up, what would you, I mean, obviously we'd like to have 2.7 mil, right, to start with, but what do you think you could start with to make it feel kind of more comfortable? You know what I mean? To have some capital. Because the thing that I ran into was, you know, it was me and my business partner, and so you know we were we had bills to pay too, so we were cutting ourselves a check sometimes 400 a week, sometimes 600 a week. You know, it just depended on what kind of money we had that week for, you know, that's not the right way to do it. And so you know, but I still feel like in my brain I go 30 grand. If I could have 30 grand, that'd be for what we were doing. Now that's kind of, we were doing 50 residential, um, 50 commercial. But you know, I guess in a nutshell, I don't say that to discourage, because you can start out with little. I mean, if you already got a vehicle and you already, you know, got some tools, general knowledge, you go out and do like an opener, you can do it. But the problem was, for what I'm getting at is, for me, it was like, I'm jumping in, man. I'm jumping in with both feet. And at the time, we just didn't have, you know, we were dealing with like $1,000 in the bank at times. Sometimes it go up to 2, 3, 4, 6, and it just kind of, you know, bounce around in there. But then all of a sudden we get somebody need 2 or 3 doors, and boom, man, you're back down to like nothing. And we were doing really bad with like residential. We weren't collecting money right then. We install it and be like, we'll send you a bill. You got 30 days. Can't do that with residential. You need payment now. You know what I mean? And so then after we started doing that. I was spending all this time chasing people, sending them letters. It just got to be ridiculous. Okay, Kansas. All right. Very little money, but also your soul. Yeah, your soul. Yeah, yeah. It's just determination. You know, it's putting the post out. I got some posts. I took a bunch of posts down for resis, and I need to put them back up. You know what I mean? But I'm kind of dreading it, because there's a lot of, it's like a kitty cat. You know what I mean? It's like pushing. It's like back and forth with a little furry ball. You know what I mean? You gotta, you know. Well, do you do this? Do you do that? Well, you didn't put in your description this. You didn't put this. You didn't put that. So, and right now it's how it goes. We're slammed. So, but there hasn't been a lot of residential, I don't think, coming in for call wise. I mean, service, but I don't think new installs. And I was just watching a guy say how it all kind of hits at once. And I think that could happen a little bit with these higher prices. Still seeing a lot of traffic in my area. I don't think the higher gas prices are slowing people down from driving, it seems like. Um, Maybe going a little bit slower speeds, maybe, from what I noticed today. Can't, only one day, so I can't say for sure. What are you thinking though, Austin? What do you got? What do you got to start? You got anything? I'm thinking little bugs. You got like a car or a truck or anything to start out with? How old roughly? What's your age? You working? Got kids? I mean, all that stuff adds up. You know what I mean? So, I got pretty lucky, I think, because I put all the hustle in. And I didn't even know what the hell I was doing. You know what I mean? Hey, 22. Maybe we can get another like or two out of there, right? We're at 6. This little fly's gonna die. But I was hustling, man. I just kept moving, kept moving, kept moving. And then it's like the kids started coming, still was moving, still was moving, still was moving. And then luckily I got to kind of back off, when the kids started getting to that age where you want to go see them do stuff or um, all that fun stuff. Yep. See, I started out, see, Evan just did it with hustle. I started out with practically nothing, borrowed tools when I had to. Um, Had to working 9 to 5, doing doors inside. Boy, I remember that. Didn't seem like when I started, I didn't seem like I had to spend a lot of money. Yep, probably because paper only employee. Yeah, yeah, yep. One thing that's kind of hard too is when you're an owner. You're really like two employees. So, and if you ever bring somebody on, you'll probably only get 50, maybe 80% out of them compared to what you do, and that can be tough. You know what I mean? And then try to meet all the deadlines, the payroll, stuff like that. That's a very tough. Tough. It's tough. You know what I mean? Excuse me. Getting beaten at night time. Yeah, it's just got to grind. That's the best thing. You know what I mean? I had to tell myself today, even right. You have to put the phone down. You got to go out. You got to do stuff. Just put the phone. Just set it down. Don't need to have it on your hip. Don't need to have it in your pocket. There's something I really think there is something to it about not carrying it. I think it's a distraction. I think it slows you down. I think it can. I don't know. It's got some kind of energy to it. So went out, got some stuff done, which is nice. It reminds me when I was young. You know what I mean? We didn't have phones. You just you know what I mean? You just survived. You had a problem, you walk. You had a problem, you walk to a house, ask if you use the phone. You just went to your destination, you got there somehow. So I don't know. Let's go grab this hitch. Oh, Austin said something here. 2016 new rack. Hopefully, all the tools you need to do service and installs. I'm purchasing little by now. Yeah, I mean that's the best. One of the things like you know, it's one of those things that goes through my mind all the time, and I think about it with employees. I think about it with uh, people that contact me and everything. And the hardest thing is it's go out there, man. Go out there and make the damn sale. That's the hardest thing to do. The hardest thing is to make that phone. If you could have 100 people call you a day and you're just like cherry picking, you're like, nope, 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 nope. I charge 65. I charge 85. I charge 125. I charge 500. I charge 1.2 million dollars for a service call. Screw you. And they're like, oh, you're too much. Nope, 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 nope. And let's say out of the 100 you get 10, right? But they're high paying people or whatever. Awesome. You know what I mean? You filtered them through, whatever, you got them. They're good customers. They're in the area that you like to go. Um, that's the hardest thing. You know what I mean? The hardest thing I always see is get the phone to ring and then make the sale. You know what I mean? You have to provide, people have problems and you need to provide a solution. That's the best thing. And then what I always notice is just like right now, right? We're doing this fence job. I'm watching in the corner of my eye, right? I'm watching Cap struggle a little bit with something, and I'm thinking we need another tool. And that tool is it's basically about $300. And I'm like, all right, we do this job. This job has a lot of money padded onto it. We can afford a $300 tool, and then we'll have it for many, many years. So we're going to buy that tool. Now, I went from a ratchet strap doing it, because that's the only way I knew how to do it, to a pair of big blue, those channel locks that you use for springs, right? To a pull jack, to now it's going to be a three-way pull jack that makes your life, you know what I mean? So you just start accumulating the tools, and it just takes time. And then when you're at the job, you go, this sucks, or I could do better, or I could make this more efficient, or it could be better, faster, quicker. You just start accumulating the tools, and you'll get through. I mean, like especially like for people, like if you do like residential openers and stuff, it's like you really don't need much. You really don't need much. You need a ladder, you need a few hand tools, a couple power tools, and you're good. You know what I mean? And so, even for like let's say Caleb, right? He's starting out. He luckily he did, which I gotta commend him for that. I tell him a good job because he did the non-bearing door, right? The one that she uses. So he found out that he had a problem, and she's okay with that door being down till he gets a low headroom track. So just all these little things you got to think about to save your biscuit. So he did good on that. He did good. But 16 Colorado, psh, easy baby. That'll work. You know what I mean? Do a lot with that. Like I said, I haven't found anybody beating Josh with a Chevy Spark yet. Good guy looking to replace his rusty bottom section door. Sage wondered if I could turn that into a new door sale. Probably. There's a guy down the road. They got a conversion piece for the bottom sections, and I don't know. Sometimes I just look at it and it's like if you just replace the door, which is about darn near the same cost because it's a 3-inch thick door, you get all new hardware. Everything is, you know what I mean? Like, like what I've noticed. This is more. This is probably more for like Evan. I see. Hey, we still got 6 likes. If you guys don't mind, hit that like button. We're trying to get up to 10. I really appreciate the 6 likes though. So, like for Evan, something that took me a long time, which I could probably accelerate you on, is that probably even for myself and for when you have employees, that was a really hard thing to do. Is like the one I can explain it is like gate operators, right? There became a time when it was pretty much me. Cap's pretty much right there with me, if not better. Um, and there was only another guy, another company. There was only 3 of us in town that could work on the old gate operators that knew the old relay logic stuff. You know what I mean? And sometimes that kind of sucked because you realize that like you have to always be the one that does it. You couldn't send employees, right? So sometimes with openers, you have to look at it like that too. It's kind of like, like, you know what I mean? Like you have to feel the customer. You're like, I don't think you're going to be happy if I fix this, and it still has a problem because you're telling me how bad your back is, and if I come and replace the board, and then the board's still not the issue, and it's this and this and this, you know what I mean? Like I got to find another protocol. So sometimes it's just easier and faster and better for everybody just to replace stuff. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's a tough balance. You got to feel the customer. What's up, Mr. Rusty? Did you make it back? You back at the home base, or are you still stuck on a? You're in a rental car or on an airplane? Let's go grab this hitch. 7 likes, dude, guys. Great, great, just great. It's pretty nice this evening. Ain't gonna lie. Pretty nice out here. poor hitch doesn't get used much anymore, so she's all crusty. Back at 2 a.m. Oh man. Oh, the plane was delayed. Nice. That's awesome. Well, we're glad you made it back. We're glad you made it back safely. All that good stuff. Ooh, I'm gonna put this thing. It's so big. Big chunk of metal. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Oh. Estimated, oh man, service schedule for tomorrow. Whew. I think the schedule, hopefully our one guy can come help tomorrow. He's got one job. They said Tuesday or Wednesday was fine too, so it must not have been that crucial. It's a big commercial customer for us. Oh man. So I'm really hoping we can have, I think we can have 5 guys. Hopefully we can have 5 guys up there. 6 would be better, but five will do. I get serious, yeah. I was doing really good. You know, I honestly think, to be honest, this is for Evan. You know, it's going to take time. It's going to take time, but I think if he plays his cards right, and that's why I'm always kind of encouraging to, you know, and like I said, if a good deal, this is not. How do I say it? It's not advice. It's my opinion. You know what I mean. I look at it, and if I was Evan, he struggles. You know what I mean? He struggles with finding the suppliers, right? And I guess I've always taken it for granted how good we have it. We probably got what 6, 8 vendors that we can go to. Um, that aren't really too far. You know, some are 45 minutes, some are an hour, some are 2 hours. And then you just kind of get blind to it because you get everything just brought to you. I think if he played his cards right and keeps grinding like he's doing, he's got, and he's got to make sure he's watching his numbers and charging accordingly because he might need to up his price a little bit. You know what I mean? Because he could be like what I was. You basically have nobody ever say no because you're too cheap. You know what I mean? So you're leaving money on the table. I mean, there's nothing worse. I think we just did a job. How was it? Where did we do a job? And they said, they were like, yep. They just said, just do it right away. And I was like, I remember Cap was like, man, the way they just jumped on it, I think we could have charged, And it's like, yeah, I probably could have upped it, Who knows? Um, so, but anyways, if he plays his cards right, and it doesn't let the stuff that doesn't make money take a hold of him. I would think in the future we could see him have his own building, and I think he'd be selling stuff out that building. And I think he would be a great person to start bringing in if he wanted to kind of hang on to the service part, like the one vendor did, and start bringing subs in, and then they'll come and start buying stuff from him. He could still go out a little bit here or there, or train or help, and he'd have a hell of a business because obviously he's struggling, and he's not going to be, he's going to get old just like us, or just like his dad, or just like his grandpa or his great grandpa, and he's going to pass away, right? Just like me, and he could start having people buy from him. You know what I mean? He could start bringing in the doors. He could start, selling the openers, kind of like what we're doing here. We're trying, anyways. You know what I mean? And it's been working, but you gotta. It's weird energy. You know what I mean? You gotta like push that into the world. You gotta create it. You gotta want it. You gotta let the world know. I was thinking about. It reminds me of what's it called? Anybody remember? I just asked my wife about it. What was it? Ask Jeeves. Remember the guy with the little platter, right? Ask Jeeves. You go in there. It was a search engine, kind of like a Google, Yahoo. It was Ask Jeeves, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I totally forgot about that. I didn't even know that existed. I guess I think May 1st, they're shutting the search engine down or whatever, right? Surprised they didn't revise it, try to make it AI, Ask Jeeves AI or something. But I'm sure Google's kicking their hiney, all this other stuff. But what my point was when I seen that is I thought, if you don't advertise it, or if you don't put it into the universe, or you don't think it, or don't create it, it won't happen. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, just something to think about. Well, stinking little bugs again. Go away. Door yesterday, pretty common style. So it was readily available. Nice. I think you will. Yeah, I think you will, Evan. I think you kind of got that youth on your side. You're ambitious. You know what I mean? You kind of remind me a lot of like uh like Caleb. You're learning, you're quick, you're interested, you're intrigued, you want to do better. That's the biggest thing. You gotta want to do better. And I think you're learning from your mistakes. Um, so you just keep, if you just keep your nose, and like I said, you don't let this is not to be, like I said, just my opinion looking back, right? I let the women, right? The women steer me. You know what I'm saying? No offense to you women. We love you. We love you. We love you cooking. Um, but when I look back at how the women would kind of steer me, and I look at stuff and I go, "No, man, I'm the man. I'm the leader. I'm the provider. I'm the creator. I'm, like you know what I mean? Like you have to build the garden. You know what I mean? Think about how much stuff they don't go through like we go through, and like I've done over the years. I've told my wife, before, and she just looks at me just like, oh, oh, and you're like, no, you don't. Oh, no, oh, you don't know. You don't know what it's like to have people hovering over you, and you're sitting there wondering if you're doing something wrong. You're not the one that's been hovering there. And when I was using that impact, I snapped my wrist pretty good. I thought I almost fractured it. It still hurts like a son of a gun. You know, like you don't know what it's like to be on your boots all day and realize you need another pair of boots, different kind or more cushion or whatever. And they're like, "You got more boots than I do shoes." And you're like, "Yeah, but most time you're sitting out." So it's and you're out, and if you got 4 seasons, maybe 6 or 8 seasons depending on what the weather. We got mud, we got snow, we got rain that comes up from the ground, we got leaves, we got debris, we got ticks, we got everything else under the sun, right? Is it Dina? Is it Dina? Let's see here. What's this says? At that point, I thought it was Dave's weekly van infomercial. Yeah, the van. Now we got a pickup truck today. You should be proud of me, Rusty. We got the old pickup truck here working. I ain't gonna shove this crap in my van. It's just too much crap. So I do like the vans though. I gotta get a pea jar or whatever you call it, pea jug. I gotta steal one because I was at that job. I didn't want to go in because I gotta get somebody. I gotta get escorted in. I didn't want to have somebody standing outside. Um, if I was gonna go the number 2, you know what I mean? Like a stand out there, man, what's taking this guy so long? It takes me a minute, okay? And so I took a break. I knew I was tapped out plus when I snapped my wrists pretty good. I was like, I told Cap, I said, I'm gonna go take a break. So I said, you want anything from the gas station? So I went down to the local park down there, used the facilities, and went to the gas station, made a couple phone calls, and got a couple things to eat and drink. So needed a break. Told myself I need a break. Reading for that? I think there is. You just got to create it. What city? What? This is America. We're in the United States of America, and this is Michigan. This is Muskegon, Michigan, right next to Lake Michigan. Pretty much, we're in the middle of the state roughly, but next to Lake Michigan. Do you know where that's at? Just curious. Or where are you from? Uh, Once in a while, there was a handyman beat me to the punch on 3 openers, but haven't seen him online in ages. Well, and the thing is the way I look at it for like Evan, he's got many years. And I'm assuming, Evan, you'd have to let me know, is your area growing or is your area dying? If it's growing, well, that's perfect for you. You might want to stay in that area. It's a tough decision. You start having a family, you start having little rugrats. Maybe you want the mom and dad to watch the kids, which I ain't gonna lie, it is nice to have mom and dads around to watch the kids. There's times that you just need a break, so that's always nice. But if it's a growing area, you know, then invest. You know what I mean? Build it. If you build it, it's like that. What's that baseball one, right? If you build it, they will come. And it's like this place, right? We don't have the best market, right? But we built it, and they have came. And now we're trying to build another, and they're coming that way too. But you gotta keep pushing it, advertising it, letting people know. You know, uh, but it takes time. People start catching wind and start putting the word out there. Hey, if you go to this place, you know what I mean? Before I got into the business, but they left a while ago. Around here, there are established businesses, overhead, precision, privately owned door businesses. There are private equity, far away, advertise here, but no trunk slammer subs. Well, like I said, maybe you can market to them if you wanted to. And that's if you wanted to. You know what I mean? I look at it like this. You know what I mean? This is what I look at it like. If I can sell 100 things out the door, I can't do service. I can't do 100 service calls in a day. You know what I mean? But the push product, and the way I kind of look at it too is I go, the product's getting crappier, so like I don't want to be on the hook for it. I'd rather push stuff a little bit more out the door, and if I can help people, because like the one guy, he normally goes to one of our vendors, and he's like, man, this is a lot closer. He goes, it's better quality than the box store. I'm like, yep, and he understood that's why he's paying a little bit more money, and he was willing to do it. It's like that's the kind of people we want, you know what I mean? And he was working. It's funny because he was working for a builder that we used to work for. That the builder is super cheap. So I'm thinking, oh, like you're getting a better door, but you're going to go install it for peanuts because I've worked for that builder, and I wouldn't want to work for that builder. He's a pain in the butt. But I'll sell you product. You know what I mean? I don't mind doing that. You know what I mean? Because the guy knows what he's doing. It's out the door. It's not my problem. It's not my pickup truck. It's not my tools. Uh, so it's just stuff you look for in the future. And then like our one vendor, you know, I would have thought maybe Amazon or anything took on that. Now he's been doing it for years. He's been doing it as long as I've been around a business for 20. And his dad used to do installs, but he just built another building, and I think they used to have like 2 people. Whoops. They used to have like 2 people in the office. Now they got 4 people. And I guess they're down 2 people that one day. And they had 4 trucks lined up, which they never had trucks lined up when I used to go there. We haven't gone there in a long time. And I was thinking, that's awesome. And most of the time, it's because people they don't, nobody looks ahead typically. You know what I mean? They just instantly, basically, you know what I mean? They go purchase it, right? They place an order and they go pick it up, right? Nobody looks at stockpiling stuff. Um, so this place is booming. You know what I mean? There's just tons of people that go there and buy stuff, just like us. I didn't have black 3-inch, 3 1/4 inch weather seal. I needed it. You know what I mean? I needed it now. I had a buddy friend that was doing a building, their siding or whatever, and he's just like, I don't care the price. He's like, this is gonna stop my $200,000 job. He's like, I need it now. Okay, so we made it work. And just like when I needed white primer seal for the last job, I think a week ago, and I was just like, I heat and hawed. I could have just put the regular seal back up, but I was like, man, I really don't want to. I wanted more surface area because the header was getting kind of rotted because the water's coming down. So we had to run. We don't have it. Where are we going to get it? So we can't get it anywhere. And when we need it now. So we ran to the vendor, and got it. So now it's one of those things. Do we order it? If we order it, it's gonna be probably somewhere between $6, $8, $1,200 because you got to pay for shipping. You got to buy a whole brick of it. I don't know. You know what I mean? Weather seal. I don't like carrying weather seal that much because the stuff gets dirty, it gets dusty. People let it twist in the box. It gets all funny. Russia. Holy moly. How do you like Putin? You think Putin's good? Do you like Putin? I'm just curious. Let me know your honest opinion. Russia. Thanks for being here. Overhead. Lots of new development, constantly going up here. Costco has folks at our city council, so maybe we'll get one someday. Nice. Nice. And you keep track of your conversions rate on service. Like if you get a price for 10, how many tell you no? Yeah, get like a little check sheet or something, a little checklist. I don't think I had one person tell me no last year. It was Haiti, all my prices for service. Probably should. Yeah, that's always a weird. It's always a weird scenario. I think it's kind of more of an individual base. You know, um, like for us, it was always like we never had no's. We get we'll get some no's. We'll get some no's. You know what I mean? But our prices are pretty much at the peak of what they can be. That's why I think we're going to actually. I was talking to Cap about. I think we're going to be changing the name. I think the name's going to have changed to it. It's going to be an abbreviation, but I think we're going to because we're just not. I always say it. We're not too affordable anymore. You know what I mean? So it's like the one guy said. What did, he ran his he did a fencing. He go, people always would joke with him, and say, "Well, I thought you were affordable." He goes, "I am affordable." He goes, "I'm just not cheap." I thought that was a great one. We've got a few of their customers once in a while because they're like what is it, like affordable fence, and we're affordable door and gate. Uh, so yeah, that's always fun. So and it follows suit a little bit because our vendor, instead of them being a door service, they are abbreviated now, and I think it's because they're selling more product. They don't want to be. I think they get too many phone calls with like service because that's what they used to do. That's what their dad started out with, and so I think we're gonna change it up. I think it's up to see. They afforded it. There you go. May have problems with Google listing. Yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? I got multiple businesses, and Google. I know how to manipulate Google pretty well. Um, so I don't think, and we're just doing probably do abbreviation, possibly not change. So like this, what the vendor did, they changed it to it just says below their actual name, but then they changed it to a few letters. Um, so we might do something like that because it's always a hard balance. Like I was thinking, I was telling Cap, I said, man, we should put and it's a tough balance because not just being honest here. We're going to and this truck even looks kind of rough. You know what I'm saying? Like all the trucks there are brand spanking new at this place. All the big dogs that go here, right? And I thought if we labeled this up, it would look probably pretty cheesy. You know what I mean? Everything there is very simple for vendors. It's very just straight to the point. Plumber, sewer, whatever. It's pipe fitters. You know what I mean? Fire expression. I mean, just something on the door. That's it. Just something on the door. That's it. And I thought, if we plastered this thing, you know what I mean, like the A1 guy, right? Like Tommy, it might be kind of a turnoff, for that kind of big place. I mean, we're talking about, $1 billion company here. I mean, you know what I mean? It's always that weird. And so it's like, what are you going for? And then it's like when you work at this place, you have to work a lot slower, but it's just so different compared to what we're used to sometimes. When you go to a company like this and they're just like, name your price. Like, we don't care. Like, we're the government. We just print the money. And it's like, okay. You know what I mean? And you got some stuff you got to do. You got to wear, like, you got to have certain boots. You can't climb certain amount of ladders and stuff. You know, I mean, you got to do all the stuff, but you got to slow down, but it's better money, So it's always like a weird, like, you know, but they do have certain doors there that I think overhead's taken care of. And the guy was kind of, and I just kind of stayed quiet. Cap did all the, and I just said, like, these are high speed. Like, I mean, you got to bring up, you got to have brand new lifts. You got to have the best of the best. Everything here is a day. You know what I mean? You can't come in here for a couple hours and do something. Everything here is a day to sign in, to get in, to harness, to make sure you're doing everything right, to work slow, not get exhausted, everything's a day. Everything takes a day. It's just one of those deals. I don't know how to explain it. Hmm. This is excuse me. The company formerly known as Affordable Door Gate changed to purple. It's purple. Purple. Purple gets a lot of attention. I'm surprised. Level up. Greetings from Arizona. Welcome. What's the temperature down there? How's the weather? Is it too dry or is it too wet? I don't know. Trucks are doing business. Nah, it's just more or less like the sign, the trucks, business cards, stuff like that. I know if you change the name, it could be a nightmare because I know like Wayne Dalton was one of them, and they were like, if you change, you got to do whatever you call it. You got to do you got to do like a whole new business. You know what I mean? Business account. Don't want to really go down that rabbit hole. Maybe you're more affordable, right? Affordable than A1. Oh, I know we are. Like I said, that one job that we paid for. You know what I mean? The A1 did. They charged $500, and this customer paid for it, and they did nothing. Or all they did actually is they put the cable on the door and got the door back up and running. But they slammed us, right? Told them how we did such a bad install, all this crap. Really, all we had was a bad chunk of weather seal that we were going to eventually go back, but we couldn't get back that day. So this lady took it upon herself. Now it was a whole mom, grandma, whatever, and then the daughter got involved, and then the wife of Tron even got involved and told this lady basically flat out, "You overpaid." You know what I mean? We're gonna pay it, but you overpaid. You know what I mean? Like, you should have never done this, and that was pretty upsetting. That was pretty upsetting. So $500 for a service call they got her for. Ridiculous. What got us for it? No sense. We paid. Or more if we figure out that's fair, and we charge we charge more. What do I do for a living in Michigan? We do garage doors. Do you guys do garage doors in Russia? I'm curious. Like, we got overhead garage doors right here. Then we got openers, garage door openers, and then we have garage doors, which I know it doesn't look like much of a garage door because obviously it's not. It's whatever down. And then we also have garage doors here that got to get installed. There's springs. There's more springs and track and hardware and openers. What's the time in Russia right now? Is it sun coming up or sun going down? I don't know. Sun going down here. It's pretty cool. Somebody from Russia. That's awesome. I might have to plug in. The phone's getting a little bit on the dead side here. Dealer, are you referring to? I don't really know if I understand the question. I deal with a lot of. Oh, this one's a mom and pop place. I won't really disclose their name, but it's a mom and pop operation. But they are the biggest LiftMaster dealer in Michigan. So, but it's taken many years, and I totally understand where the guy came from. He doesn't really talk much. He keeps his stuff pretty secret. But he told me that basically it was one of those things. He watched his dad just grind himself to the bone, and late hours and everything, and I can totally relate with that because I've been in the business too, and it's very exhausting. Um, and he said he didn't want to do that, and his dad was super not happy that he's like, I built all these customers, you're gonna just leave them, and it was him and I think there was two brothers. Now the brother still does it, so it kind of works good for the one brother that does the vending part of it or the sales part of just the product. Another one still does installs, but he's made a hell of a business. His kid runs it now. Um, it does really good. I mean, great service. I mean, back when their mom used to be, it would be the one guy mom, uh, they always had Tootsie Rolls. Man, I gotta make sure we need some Tootsie Rolls. I gotta get some Tootsie Rolls. The Tootsie Rolls are what, man, every time I go there, little thing of Tootsie Rolls, man. I was just like sitting there. Can I have another one? Can I have three? Can I take a couple with me? Tootsie Rolls, man. I was a sucker for Tootsie Rolls. It was great. It was good times. And they do a great job. They really do. They're a great company. And it's kind of weird. The guy told me, didn't believe him. Kind of like me telling Evan. He told me, he says, one day, Dave, he says, you'll be big enough, you'll be getting your own doors delivered, and you'll be getting your own supplies. And I was like, no, I'm always coming here. This is great. This is great. And then as time went on, I started realizing how valuable my time was. And I was like, I don't have time for this. I'm buried right now. Like, I don't even know what to do. Like there was a light bulb moment one time, I remember years ago. And probably when you have, you know, I guess it's one of those things like I always encourage people like everybody should run a business because it makes you open up how real politics and how the real world works. And then you almost need, I'm not saying you always got to keep the employees, but you should have some employees because boy, it really is a good learning lesson. And what it is like, I remember this guy, right? He always has something. He always has something. There's always something wrong. There's always some problem. There's always something. It's not a good day. It's not a beautiful day. It's not a beautiful sunset. You don't understand. My car broke. That's horrible. Um, but anyways, they would. I knew that day he was going to run out of concrete, and I was stressing, man, because I was like, I don't have time to go get concrete. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And all of a sudden, I was thinking, wait a minute. I think you can call a box store, which was Home Depot. I said, I think I can call them and I can place an order and I can pay for it over the phone. Like I don't have to go pick the concrete up physically and put it in my truck and then deliver or give it to him or have him get it or give him the card and have him go to a store and then come back. Eureka! I'm pretty sure it's called Will Call. I can call because he was in a couple towns over, so he was a ways away. And I thought, oh my gosh, I could call them. I'll place the order for 10 bags of concrete. And when he calls me, he's like, I'm out of concrete. What do you want me to do? Should I come back and get the card and do it in town, or should I call it a day so I can go home? And I was like, he called. And he's like, I'm out of concrete. Because I don't think he had two or three. And I said, all right. I said, well, right down the road, about 10 minutes, right down the road, I said, you got a Home Depot. I said, go down there. I already paid for 10 bags. Ooh, I don't think he liked that. Oh, don't make me go down the boot. I said, they're going to all have it already. I said, even ask some of the guys to give you a hand. They'll have helpers. Free helpers. You know what I mean? Already paid for it. It's going to be on a cart waiting for you. You know what I mean? I don't think you like that. But that's what I'm saying is like you gotta always outsmart yourself. You always gotta be thinking ahead. You gotta always be problem solving. Um, you know, that's all we do is problem solve. Ladies million, yeah. Like I said, hey, and that's the thing, Rusty. Like I said, if your wrap works, like I said, we got wraps, right? And it works good. It works good for it's just one of those things. Like what I'm trying to say is like it works good for residential. Like I wouldn't say I think wraps work good for residential. It's just when I noticed when we were up in the $1 billion company, I go, it looks probably kind of cheesy. They don't give a shit who we are. They really don't. They don't care. We're already going through a builder. Well, it's because we got the relationship with the builder, and then like they don't even care what we are. But I think I just go, I don't like that name on there when we're working for these really high end places. You know what I mean? I go, you know what I mean? And like I said, there was There's some nice service trucks up there, and they just got real simple. It's just when I watch, like, even our new Kurt, right? They call it new Kurt. They're big electrical place. They don't have phone numbers. I watched all the big dogs, like when we have consumers or our electric company or DTE, which is another energy company. You don't have phone numbers on there. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying. I just look at, when I look at it, I go, the big dogs that are already built into the system don't have phone numbers on their stuff. Which I'm not saying we shouldn't. I think residential, I think we should. But when I look at the commercial, you know what I mean? That's not to say we couldn't go in there with a rat vehicle. I just think it looks a little bit, it might be too much. I think we're going to probably have to start getting, I think we're leaning towards we're going to have to get uniforms. Just because we're in so many dirty places and stuff, and I think it's time again. I think it's time to do uniforms. You can make somebody look a hell of a lot better with a uniform, right? If I was all dressed up nice, I got my old crappy shirt on today because I've been working. Who isn't? Yeah, more affordable than A1. Yeah. Yeah. But the problem is, you know what the problem is? Is that A1 can spank all our butts in marketing. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Their marketing is unmatched. They're the top. They're the top. So that's kind of the problem. Is that they got the marketing. They beat us. We'll go inside for a minute here. While the sun's going down. I appreciate all the comments. I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you for the likes too. Don't forget, we're at 9. We get up to 10. I might have to email you a cat picture. Maybe we got dog lovers. That's the problem. Oh. Mm, mm, mm. Let's see. Level up me. Prices in Arizona. I find that hard. Hard to believe. Stop talking. Answer my question. What was your question? Did I miss it? What do you do for a living? Garage doors. Garage doors? That Russia. Must be that Russian. 92 degrees today. It was weird though, because like when we went out to Vegas, I think it was 82, 84, and it was not bad. I was like, this isn't bad. It was dry heat. You know what I mean? Better than that Michigan heat. Michigan or Florida. Whew, that humidity, man. Just start dripping. Yeah, I don't know how much they charge this for. I think around 12, 14. That sound like rusty prices. 15.2 for a torsion spring conversion. Yeah, baby. Maybe more for a 7-foot opener. 3,000 for a pan door. Wow. Wow. 675 for a steel back. Dang. It's weird. I don't know if Level Up here knows, but does A1 charge anything to come out for a basically like an estimate, or is it just everything's a free estimate? Because I've been noticing they come out about, it probably takes them probably about an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes from their location where they're coming, but they'll come over to a spot north here a little bit, quite a bit, and just in that general area. And we've been going behind them a lot. You know what I mean? And we'll give them prices. And some of these customers, I think, are just, I don't know what they're doing. They're just weird and they just don't even do nothing because we'll go buy them or something. It's like, man, it's been like 3 months or whatever, 4 months. Still never got another door. It's like, I don't know how. But they'll say, like, oh, I had A1, I had, who's the other one? Precision. And then now I got you guys or whatever. And it just, I don't know, something seems funny. And I sit there and I go, I have a hard time that like A1 like didn't put the hammer down and get this sale. You know what I mean? Or they did realize that they were way too much And so I don't know, it's just weird. Like I'm surprised like they're just not getting something out of this customer. Like I didn't come out here for nothing, and I'm assuming they make commission and stuff like that. So, the salesperson or the technician's like, wants to make a sale. But I just don't know if they do free estimates. I don't know if I've ever seen anywhere it says they do free estimates or anything. Higher, not far off Torture conversion. I usually 9 Pandoras, 3 because I charge plus materials. They're running any profitable. They don't guess prices. I pay around $6.75 for 16 for a Clope T50. Are you a Clope dealer? Where do you buy it? What do you mean they don't guess on prices? Clope dealer, yes. Um, Great price dealer. I just checked and my price 8 something. So is that the same one? I recently adjusted the Panda price in here. 800 is about what they were previously. Interesting. I guess I mean their price is based on overhead desired profit margin. Yeah, I assume they, like I said, they'll whack the people more if they can, because I'm pretty sure the guys make commission off of it. So they're like, we can make another $100. That's gonna cushion my commission on it. We're gonna hit them, or they'll do an upsell, while they're there, type of thing. Like, hey, by the way, we could change a perimeter seal. That wasn't part of it. We should probably do that for you. You definitely have a good system in place for profit. Oh yeah. So I don't sell. I choose get my best multiplier 93 something. Sure, if they charge for an estimate or no. I know that's what I was wondering because I just kept thinking, I've been seeing quite a few that they're going to that obviously, I know darn well we're cheaper than them and they're, I mean, we're not even landing. We'll get some, but we're not landing. But I'm just thinking like, it's just one of those things. Like I keep hearing like, oh, we had A1 out here, and it's like you try to get some information, but certain texts don't ask those questions. They just, hand it over to the secretary, whatever, all the dimensions, and they work their math. But you're just not. It's like it just seems like it's becoming very repetitive, where it's like you're just kind of going, damn, man. Like in a week, I remember one week it was like I think we were up to like 5 or 8 A1s behind A1s, and it's like, jeez, like are they dodging out here every time? Are they just hanging out here during the day, or like and they basically didn't get this job, I'm assuming. Um, because it's just our market. Like I said, we maybe that's why they don't have a headquarters over here yet either. This is a hard. I remember years ago, some of the construction people that I've worked for and stuff, and they always say Muskegon is the hardest market to find contractors. Um, and I think possibly, we're kind of on a peninsula. We're kind of, it's, you got handyman, you got just a lot of diversity, I guess, for options. And our market is just not a super, unless you get like along the lakeshore and stuff, you just don't have a super rich market. You either kind of turn into mini Detroit or you turn into hillbillies or Amish. You know what I mean? That's kind of it. Um, oh, it keeps freezing. Sorry about that. Okay, so you're going behind A1 quite a bit too. Are you kind of seeing the same thing? You know what I mean? Like, are you seeing where it's like they're obviously not getting the job? It's just they either charge too much. I don't know how. Um, I don't do a lot of tracking for A1, but I thought I've heard that A1 might be. I don't know why I heard this or how I heard this, but they might be struggling a little bit. Um, I think they're trying to. They're obviously they're the ones that push. They push the advertising, but I don't know if they're landing that many, but I mean, you know how it is. Obviously, they probably only need 2 jobs, and we need 3 or 4. You know what I mean, to make up the same. So, there's, you know, yeah, right. Well, that's kind of the same thing. It's like we've been noticing too. Like, if we go behind A1, it's like almost like an easy slam dunk because they're just like, whoa. I mean, these guys were like $6,000 higher than you, and it's just like, yeah, I already got it padded with 3 on it, so we're looking pretty good. We'll have a pretty decent steak tonight. You know what I mean? But it's, you know what I mean. So like when you hear that, it's almost like you're kind of like, oh well, let me add a few more on there because I know they didn't come in cheap. You know what I mean? So it's like you can kind of mark it up a little bit. Mm, 6 something. Does include wireless keypad. Yeah, it's not bad. Like I said, that's good. Yeah, I don't get it. It's like they got the marketing. Like I said, they're the man. It's like their phones got to be ringing. They got the top of Google typically. They get all the they got the vans. I think that's what Tommy was always talking about. He always makes sure they always show up in a new van or whatever or a new truck. And I'm sure they do. I'm sure they get obviously they do some of it, but I don't know. I don't know. Mm, don't keep it. Don't come with it. Oh, but they know that they are getting too many jobs. They are too cheap. And Mister, yeah, Tom, yeah, probably, yeah, that's probably it too. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, hey, they're doing something. They're doing something right. Like I said, they get, obviously it's a franchise. It looks like the whole, but you know how it is. There's a lot of private equity and stuff in that. Tommy, he's always got his hands in stuff. So, hopefully one day I get to shake his hand. You know what I mean? Good for him for what he's done. It's hard for business, the competitive part, and it's hard you know, when you get their texts, right, that'll come out and they bash our work, you know what I mean? Which, yeah, we had a boo boo. We had some broken weather seal that did need to be changed. And we had a technician that maybe should have had a little better, supervising a little bit. But when the customer paid $500, I thought, geez, oh, and they got her for it. You know what I mean? Should have made her eat it. She said, sorry, we're not paying for that. We told you we come out in another day or so. And she couldn't wait. And just out of the good hardness of us, we paid the bill and told her, you paid way overpaid. You know what I mean? Like that was really stupid. Mm, 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 mm. It's hot. I wonder how warm it is. Do they go Celsius or do they do Fahrenheit in Russia? Have to let us know. I never got an answer from you on Putin either. See, you give me crap. You like Putin? You don't like Putin? You like Russia? You don't like Russia? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. That is true. Like I said, I don't know. And it's a hard balance. You know what I mean? Like for you, Rusty, if you never get nobody that says no, dude, you really should be upping your price. You know what I mean? Because we probably get about 20, 30%. I mean, we had somebody that told us, what, about a week ago or something, that we were like 3 grand high than the other person. Okay. You know? You know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of one of those weird push pulls. And then, if you get slow, you can kind of reduce a little bit. But like I said, I know it's a different dynamic here. Like I said, we got employees, we got secretaries, we got accountants, we got 2 lawyers that are based at or will call. I mean, we got a huge establishment here, so it's kind of a weird demographic where you got to kind of, you got the one company that's competition, and I remember my buddy when he was alive, they're even a bigger operation than us, And I always remember him telling me, which I understand, I do get it. And he said, Dave, he goes, I don't know how they can charge so little. He says, but he will just charge enough to keep his guys working. And I get it. When you have payroll and you got employees and you got trucks and all this other stuff, you know, you got to keep the money flowing, the cash flow. Cash flow is king. You know what I mean? Now you want to be profitable and make a lot of money, trust me. But sometimes, when you um, how do I always say it? When you have an extended family, and that's what's really weird. It's like you have your own family and then you have their extended family, and you have to keep everything moving, and it's a tough gig. We finally got advanced verification completed, so trying to get a piece of the Google pie. Awesome, good for you. Realized one of the garage door guys was making more than him. Nice. Okay, Rusty, Pennsylvania, Western, what's that? Is it Pennsylvania? Or is that some? Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Oh my gosh. Oh, really want to know. I don't even want to know. Sometimes it feels like it's a race. That's what it feels like. 68 says. What time is it? We'll go to about 9 maybe if things keep rolling. Otherwise, we'll wrap her up. If we're not freezing, the old stream could be freezing. You never know. That's how it goes. Plus, I got to get up. I got to make sure everything. I got to get up kind of early tomorrow. Oh, so hopefully, if we're lucky, we'll get everything wrapped up. But it might turn into 2 days. 2 days. 2 days, which is okay. We got it. It's there. But material run today. Handling, well, rollers, anyways. Wheelie carts. And then we're down a runner tomorrow. So we're down a runner until about last quarter if we need it. So, and then who's going to call the uniform company? A price sheet, use app, call office. No, the secretaries have been. We're going to get a price sheet, but prices been changing. It's hard sometimes, but they need to go back to the folder wherever I had a folder for her to reference. Don't know where it went. Maybe it's not here. I don't know. Maybe she took it home. But they need at least a generic one, for non-insulated vinyl back, steel back, and then. But most time it's well, for one, like if they do like a broken spring, or they do torsion conversion, all that, that's all in Java. So all they have to do is click on torsion; it already generates. So we can go through, we can change that. It's a little bit difficult with the prices and models, and we use multiple different doors, and they don't have that quite where they feel 100% confident on it. So they'll sometimes back out, but um, I think we're going to more of a commission base, so it's going to be they're gonna want to do it. You know what I mean? It's going to happen. So there's definitely some going to be some changes, which is fine. Which is fine. I mean, Cap asked for help. I've taken a lot of years of experience, a lot of research, and we're going to make a change. So things are going to be improving here, and that's what I kind of do. I normally kind of come into the businesses and I'll start making improvements, and I'll help where I can. And right now, he's got a lot of me at the moment, and I don't think that's going to last too much longer because I'm getting behind on some other stuff. So, but we'll do the best I can, and then I'll scurry off to something else. So a lot of emails. I basically pretty much told a lot of people email is what you have to do. Everything. So a lot of the property managers, they're getting stuff. So I do a lot of emailing at night right now, getting everything followed up. They do a pretty good job. We got some pretty good people that handle stuff. So but that's why it's tough. You got to build the system. That's what you need to do because you're trying to build a McDonald's is what you're trying to do. You know what I mean? Anybody can make a better hamburger, but can you build a better system? That's how you got to look at it. Systems, get systems in place. Like I'm so excited now that I can control my gate from an app, just from whatever, like a MyQ. Oh, that's amazing. You know what I mean? So now, because once in a while, um, it wasn't too long ago, I'd even called Mr. Caleb because I think he was the last one. I called him at midnight, said, "You need to get your butt out there." I said, "You need to shut the gate." And he did. He did. So, but you always got to kind of monitor over things. You got to look and see problems. And where did that card go? Now I think of it. We had a uniform guy stop in. We use this one company for, they'll do your rugs and stuff. They're pretty good. They're a good company. I really like them. But figured since this guy walked in and threw the card down, we give him a shot too. Maybe he's a little hungry. You know what I mean? Want a little business. See how it goes. Because right now we just can't keep up. Cap's been trying his hardest to. He used to be into the uniform stuff, and he'd order some stuff and apparel, and it's just we're kind of behind. And I don't think the girls can carry on that torch at the moment and know what to do. So it might just be time. I don't know if I should get some uniforms or not though. It's debatable. I know sometimes if I got my nice clothes on, I don't want to lean over in some of these factories and stuff, all the dirt and dust and grease. I'm like, yeah, I just bought this sweater. uh, Uniform? What do you mean by uniform? Like, like a full, like we used to have a service quite a few years back. They'd wash our pants, they wash our shirts. They could get out. I mean, I was amazed. I had employees here at one time. Those guys aren't here. They'd literally take their shirts and mop up grease and engine oil with them. I wasn't real happy about it, but they'd bring them in. And, I mean, metal shavings. I mean, and throw it in the bin. And I was like, "What the hell is wrong with you? That is not how." Well, I was working under the car. I didn't want. So it's like, jeez. I couldn't believe those uniforms come back. I don't know what they use. They come back squeaky clean. I mean, there was hardly anything unless you put a rip, like a tear into it, and then you didn't make a report about it. But they'll fix the rips for you. They'll clean them. They put badges on them. They normally are good in the wintertime. They start doing like a promotion where they'll let you try on Carhartts. You find which ones they'll get stuff embroidered. I mean, we just always had a plethora of clothing. It was very nice for only like $400 a month. So I don't know what exactly they're charging now, but I think it's getting to be that time because they'll give you shorts and they'll give you 2 weeks worth. So you rotate through, you use one week, throw it in the dirty, they'll come back the next week, you get fresh, they'll come all nice and packaged and just like if you worked at a factory, you know what I mean? If they gave you uniforms, you ever work at a factory and they give you uniforms, they got boots, they'll do boot sales. I mean, we got overalls from them. It's a really nice service. Like I said, I just look at it because just you always like, what's the economy going to do? You know what I mean? Like, are we gonna smash and burn here pretty soon? Because it's just, I mean, I see the residential stuff starting to. I think that's starting to dry up a little bit because people are, when you're spending 100 or 200 bucks at the gas pump, that gets tough, man. That gets tough. You know what I mean? Try to put food and you're used to eating out and all this other stuff. Stuff starts adding up. do, 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 do. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. They all have. I don't have any. Cap actually still has one of the old shirts, but it has like they had stripes. We'll probably do something that they agree upon that they like. A little more modern, hopefully, if they got anything. So, but they'll put a badge. They'll put your name on it. I like the pockets. I always used to really like the pockets. Button up shirt. Um, I just the reason being is I see us into commercial too much and like this job. I was gonna try to get even Cap a new high vis. You know what I mean? Because I seen his is looking a little bit it just looks old. You know what I mean? It just doesn't look as clean as what it should. And it's like this is a fairly clean facility. And you know what I mean? You gotta kind of play the part. Steve charge 375. Two springs. Broken job today. Nice. Not bad. Make a little extra money on the weekend. You know, could be out spending money or could be out making some money. 2583. Is that even a 10 cycle? I don't know. I don't know. It says, is that cost about average in your market? Where are you? Note 2 length, cut them to length for 10 foot back of the truck. Dang, dude, cut them up. It's not piece, it's just hourly. Some are salary, some are hourly, but I think we're gonna be going. We got the sheet so they can start doing commission off of the profit. So because there's just so many variables that you have to think about, and so it's in the works. We're trying to see Jobber. It sounds like can kind of do it a little bit to make it somewhat easier, but it's not 100% bulletproof. Our biggest problem right now is the clocking in, clocking out. You know what I mean? That's the problem. We can do it, but we forget about it. I even forgot about it Friday, so I had like 22 hours on the job. Clocked it out at like 2 o'clock in the morning. My fault. So we're talking about maybe doing, there's a couple different, one you just have to call or text, or we're talking about working with radios, like those rapid radios, because there's just too much. So there's a couple things, right? If you have like if you kind of do like a group text, it just turns into like a bitch fest, basically. You know what I mean? Or some stuff that doesn't even matter. But when people have to physically call, they're a little more shy and embarrassed, but they just get to the point. You know what I'm saying? So that's possibly what I've been talking to Cap about on and stuff. We don't know for sure on that, but right now we're trying to get our head out of the barrel of water because we're like I said, we probably could use about anywhere between 3 or 5 extra people right now, and so we're trying to be way efficient and we're trying to make sure everybody stays happy that needs stuff done. So it's a lot of planning. That's why he came in, worked Saturday. I came in, worked Saturday, and then I worked a little bit today, obviously going to get the racks and stuff. So that way everything's ready to go for Monday. So hopefully we have a successful week and everything goes smooth. We want smooth. What's up, Mr. Rich B? Thanks for sending me the HVAC stuff. I do enjoy that. 10 likes, by the way. God darn you, you guys win the big ticket. If you need that cat picture, you just send me that email. North Carolina. There's a guy I watch that does used cars over there, and he sells cars really cheap. And I'm always like, I wonder what the market is like in North Carolina. Like, is it a big baller place? Is it up and coming? Is it kind of flooded out and rivers and all that stuff that happened? I think that was south, but um, never really get a read. You know what I mean on North Carolina. You know what I mean? Got a buddy that went down there. I think he was building some place to rent, like on the river. He kind of got out of the certain business, so now he's doing mostly real estate. Um, does some rentals, and then he's got some rentals up here, and then I think he's doing more like you rent a room type and that, and you can get a kayak and you can go down the river type of thing. So kind of cool stuff. Employees, but can't charge a customer hourly. The more efficient I am, the less they pay. Flat rate is the way. 12,000 cycle springs. Kind of close to 10,000. I wouldn't shorten for it, in my opinion. Venture out on your own. That's a great question. I didn't. I just started from scratch basically. I had a business partner that worked for a door company at one time, and he did a little bit, you know what I mean? And I wanted to start something, so I started it. I was kind of more the drive. I've been always kind of that way. I'm always kind of the way I always looked at it for sure, 8 to 5, you got to work the 8 to 5 hours in the business minimum. Now, did it work that way? No, it turned into more 12, 14, 17-hour days. But I worked off him. I learned, and I remember when we had to go back to jobs because we had somebody neglect to pay us $10,000. I remember I relied on him every time to wire up a garage door opener. So I still remember the first time I wired up it was like a LiftMaster Chamberlain opener. I was scared to death. And I remember I wired it, and I was so worried about shorting it because I had no idea where the wires went. I was like, oh my gosh, where do these wires go? Right now, if you ever done LiftMaster Chamberlain, you're like, that's nothing. That's nothing. It is nothing now. But when you're starting out, it's everything. Didn't know. And then I remember that opener, I ran the thing. I was trying to set limits on it, and I was running it up and down the full cycle. And it was a hot summer day, man. Just shirt wet, everything up and down the ladder. I'm checking things, all paranoid, all scared. And I remember that was the one that the opener stopped. It overheated. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like I'm just sitting there going, oh my gosh, I just ruined their opener. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to explain this? And I knew there was an overload in there. I just never hit the overload, So now I'm pulling the cover. I'm in there blowing on it. I'm fanning it. I'm everything. I just got done with the last limit set on it too. And so I remember I told the customer, I knocked on the door. I was just slammed because I had to come back into the business. I had basically no clue what I was doing. And I remember I'm running around. I got another service call I got to go to. And I told the customer, they were kind of out in the country. I said, look, give it 15, 20 minutes. I said, it should be perfect. I said, if it doesn't come back to life or you have any problem, I said, I will come back. Just call me. I will come back. And I said, but it's a thermal overload. I said, it's just overheated right now. And luckily, they never called back. They just waited 15, 20 minutes. It cooled down. It worked. But man, I freaked out. And a lot of stuff was just kind of self-learned. You just kind of worked with certain people. You're around other people. I went through a lot of school of hard knocks. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why we're here. That's why we have this community, so we can learn and feed off each other and get input, all this other great stuff. So it works out great. And like I said, just like going to Las Vegas, going to the expo, got to meet a bunch of great people, got to learn some stuff, got to see some new products. So that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? Trying to make life a little easier, easier on the body, easier on the mind. Size door on a fiberglass door, that would be 25. Oh, for door height. Yeah. Used cars aren't rusted either. Yeah, I bet. I might have to come down there. Maybe I'll get me a service van or something because I'm all about some non-rusty cars. I thought Georgia was kind of the sweet spot. You know what I mean? Georgia. Yeah, North Carolina. I know if you get too close, like I think was it like Florida? You get down to Florida, they rust from like the sunroof down versus like Michigan is from bottom up, from the salt. Yeah, new cars aren't rusted. Yeah, no salt air rust. Uh-huh. That's funny. Yeah. And where the commercial Marines push button while it was plugged in. Blue. Oh, inside. Panicked at first. Got one from parts department. Oh man. Yeah, it's not, when you don't know. That's what I was trying to explain, I think, a little bit why people, you know what I mean? Like I don't like nothing really bothers me anymore. I'm just like, man, like I'm gonna figure it out, or I'm gonna tell you need to replace it, or you know what I mean? Like there's some way to figure it out. Don't panic. You know what I mean? Um, have confidence. That's the biggest thing. Just own it. Own it. Mm, bubbling up, appliance from steel back doors, bubbling skin. No, No, not so much. But I did see one. It was I can't remember if it was a Horman or Amar, and somebody was selling one online. It was bubbling. It was a black door, and I seemed like the last one. It was quite a while ago when I installed the Amar, and they had that wood grain. And I remember looking like right in the corners, and I could see like the sticker. It was like an overlay. That sticker was like starting to come, and I was like, like I wonder how long that's gonna last. Like until that sticker pops out of the corner. Yeah, the $50 Harley fuse. Yeah, no kidding. Thought it was cool. Yeah, they both use the same. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, anything Harley Davidson, boy, that's expensive. The guy, I guess they come out now. They got some. It's like a Sportster one. It was an automatic. It was a black gentleman, so I don't think he likes shifting gears. But he's saying, "Well, I got this bike. It's small. I think that was a. I don't know if it was electric. It looked like a scooter though. It was like a bigger scooter." And he was saying that one's the only reason I got it, he says, because that one's automatic. And he said, I got this one. He says, because this one's automatic too. And he goes, I haven't seen anybody with this one yet. And he says this one's automatic. He says, but it's got the motor of a crotch rocket on it. So it was like a sport bike. It wasn't a full Ninja or a Rocket. I was looking at it, I was like, wow, yeah, it's a nice bike. I was thinking, I wanted to ask him, but I didn't ask him. I was going to say, like, how does that sound being an automatic? Like, that doesn't even, like, does it sound like it shifts? Is it just like a serpentine, like a snowmobile? Or, what do you call that? I can't think of what that clutch is called right now. Uh, Walnut Oak. That was bubbling. It was a COVID or what's up, Burke? How you doing? Hello, everyone. What's this? I have a 2020 Transit, and it was a sweetly. Ooh, it's clean, huh? Yeah, I know those one vans. They're getting old, man. They're getting old for like bending over. Every time I get in, I'm always like, "Jeez, Louise, man, you really got to bend over in this." I don't mind caps with the cutaway. That one's okay, and you got more room. You know what I mean? But boy, it'd be nice to get something with a more high top, so you could not be a little higher, a little higher, a little higher is better. Mm, Several that okay, bubbling from understand this because your foam mixture is not correct ratio from the manufacturer. Wow. Or after. Hmm. Probably like a speaker. Yeah, like a Tesla. Yeah, there you go. Right. It's just makes noise. Um, yeah, that's for sure. They got tons of sun. I know when I was talking to Wayne Dalton quite a few years, they were having a lot of problem with the 9000 series, which I was like, you even let those sell down in Arizona? I know they had some huge subdivision that they had to go down and look at because they were having all kinds of, I think the panels were like coming apart. They were getting so hot with the black. I was like, on a 9600? I was like, who puts black on 9600? That's such a thin door. This was more recent within the last year. Which model? R12 or 18? 9208, huh? R18. Well, maybe level up. You need to go to that video I did today between Amar and Clopay. I said, Amar versus Clopay, and comment anything you find about that email if you can see it on there for that gentleman that was looking for some ideas on what to buy. Now he was doing an almond, so I'm assuming almond's not going to be an overlay type, wrap. It's just going to be painted. Do 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 do. Ooh, Harman 1.5 inch. I'm a 2 inch guy, man. I like my 2 inch thick doors. The live wire. I'll just tell you on here, mother. Oh man, blood cancer. I don't even know if I've heard of blood cancer. So I had to take 2 weeks off. It's been very hard, family. Oh man, sorry to hear that. But she is doing better now. I've never even heard of blood cancer. Cause like I mean I'm not like can they like filter that out like blood cancer? I don't even know if I've ever heard of blood cancer. Huh. Well, we'll pray for her. I hope she gets better. That's for sure. Like, and cancer, but make sure if you can try to do your research too, because I think there's certain foods that you can eat, or fasting. I heard is pretty good too, which is super hard. Fasting is good because then your body helps kind of rejuvenate, and it. I don't know. You got to remember too. A lot of our food is poisoned. I'm part of it. I'm part of it too. Trust me. I drink the pop. You know, not good for you. That's what they're feeding you. To black storage building. We'll see, huh? It says for her and your family. Absolutely. Not sure if I saw that video. I'll check it out. Yeah, do it because, like I said, I was asking. Most time, anytime I put something on there, I said, I put on there like, I need your help. You know what I mean? Those are videos that I'm always like trying to ask people, like the community, like, hey, please watch this one. You know, I'm looking for feedback on this. So, the AMAR, I'm kind of like, the sections are sections. As long as he's, if he was throwing black, that's a curveball. Um, I don't know how those plank doors are holding up. I've been seeing them around more often. I think I'm just gonna make my own. I'm just gonna go to like Lowe's or whatever and get some plank flooring. You know what I mean? Vinyl flooring, whatever. I'm just gonna make my own. I'm just gonna glue them on. That's all it reminds me of. It reminds me of a hardwood floor they just glue. You know, every time I see them, my wife loves them. She's all like, "That looks so great." I'm like, "It looks like you took my floor and just went." That's all it looks like. Put some windows in it. And I mean, some of them do look like I don't know. I'm really on the fence about them. Like I kind of look at it and I'm like, I don't know if I like. I got more of the wow factor when they started doing the windows on the side. I think Rusty's got him on his buildings. When you do them on the side, I always thought that reminded me like the '70s. I'm like, whoa! I was like, I haven't seen that in a long time. That's kind of cool. I don't particularly like them for practicality of them, unless it's like a showroom or something. Because I look at it like there's a guy that's not too far from the shop here, and every time I go by, I can see his crap in his garage. And I'm always like, I drive by, I'm like, clean up your garage. Your garage is disgusting. It's a nice garage. It's brand new. There's nothing wrong, but it's just like you see the stuff in the window, and it's like you know, I don't know. Had an issues. Black. Install mark. Yes, they will do it for you too. Shh. Uh, okay, leukemia. Okay. I thought you were just trying to troll Amar to Clope. No, I need help on that one. I didn't know, like I said, I don't really do much of the AMAR anymore. I've heard good things from, the community that AMAR has gotten better. They got away from those crazy hinges. Um, so long as it's not that, I call it the vinyl wrap, those ones scare me a little bit on some of the doors. Do a black door unless it faces. That's a good idea. That's a good idea, Rich. That's a good idea. I did go and check. I got a little video clip. I don't know if I ever put it up. I did get a little video clip of me, the black door that I did that was for I'm pretty sure it was a 9600. That one faces south. And that one it looks still pretty shiny. It don't look faded. And I did that many years ago, probably 8 or 10 years ago. Um, yeah, maybe a little longer. And it looks like it's holding up pretty good. So I guess they can kind of somewhat hold up here in Michigan, but boy, it's like I said, ever since I had that brown door, 18 by 8 TS 200, and I remember watching that. My man door was right there. The man door like literally hit the door. It's kind of a bad design, right? But I remember I come in that man door, bam, the door kind of. I did like a second take. I was like, what the fudge? I said, look at that door, and I'm like sighting down it. And I'm like, that son of a gun has worked, and I remember it had built-in struts. And then I remember going back out there during nighttime, and it's like you feel like your eyes are playing games with you. So I'm like looking back down, and I'm like, that looks straighter. And all I kept thinking about was thought, oh my gosh, is that why these doors? This is just my opinion. I'd love to hear yours if you know or don't know or whatever. But you know, when you think about those doors, like Wayne Daltons are pretty good for it too, right? The TS 200s and TS 125, TS 150s. You ever see how they'll start concaving? You know, like so in my mind, this is my weird conspiracy. I have no clue. I almost think the sandwich doors are kind of bad. I think because everything's glued and it all contracts all the time, and that's what gives them that ripple. It looked kind of weird over the years versus something that's just an insert. Think of like a vinyl back or Safeway always had where they just put the foam, insert foam, basically put steel over it type of thing. I always wonder if that like lets the metal just relax and do its thing versus it's stuck to glue and it's like constantly because you'll see sometimes there's one customer I know, their space is south. And man, it's so caved in and it's like, oh my gosh, your door looks horrible. And so I don't know. But I wonder that sometimes that those sandwich doors are stuck together and then all that hot and cold. So I always thought that door was going to start rippling because it's bowing and bowing out, bowing out, and then it might be doing other things. So that door is going to look, But I think I went by it not too long ago, and that one looked okay. So maybe they hold up a little better, the thicker the door. I don't know, just weird stuff. 2743 from AMR 3-inch. Ooh, what's the R value in the 3-inch for the AMR? I'm just curious. It's got to be up in like the 18, 20 something. Dark colors, so hopefully. Whew, yeah, hopefully. My doors do face north. I like how AMR sections, tongue and groove. It's just a bent edge rolled over. Ooh, like Clopay. I know. I've been kind of curious now since that one guy mentioned the Invicta. They're really big about not having light show through how the sections. So I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of curious if they could beat the Rich B doors with no light because I did do a vinyl back and I think it got bent in transit or something like that. And it was like of course, the top section. And I was like, I could see light, and I forgot to bend it down. I don't think the guy's gonna care. It's kind of a what do you call it? Trailer park, nicer trailer park, but a trailer park type thing. Garage. I don't know if the garage had a ceiling in it. To be honest, now I think about it. But he had a vinyl back. He wanted to put another vinyl back in, probably so if he ever insulated, doors all good to go. And I was going to try to bend that down. Now, in my opinion, you can only do so much, right? Even though if there's ours better, stuff can still get bent. You still might have to bend it. That's been always the common trend over the years. But I would like to see their profile a little better, just to see if I could compare them because I never looked at that. Non-pinch hinge. I don't know if AMR's still even offering that. They used to have that weird whatever hinge deal. AMR's doing great. Well, that's good. See, that's good to hear. I haven't done AMR in a long time, so I don't know what they're doing. I mean, we could get a whole slew of them in again, probably if we wanted to. They'll gladly drop us off some, but boy, they were always damaged for us. Scratched and dented and. The North Pole. That's right. Yeah, North Pole. That's happening. Yeah, sounds like he's warmer than us right now. Yeah, they must. Yeah, they must wash and wax it. I know. I'm kind of friends with him from an old job. We don't really talk, but I know him, and I should reach out to him and say, hey man, can I come take like some video of your door? How's it working? Are you been happy with it? My shop times of years, Dawn just so. Oh my gosh, with black. Oh wow. Never thought about that. Holy cow, 28 RVL on that 3-inch. Wow. Wow. Whew. Windows, I install. I said to my helper, this door looks awesome. I said, 1970. Yeah, Sunburst is. think the only person that has sunbursts I can think of is my mom. My mom still got sunbursts on her old garage doors. Her garage doors are probably getting due. She's painted them, and I'm always like, I'll go over there and they start to get like rust spots in them or something, and I'm always like, I think I might know a door guy. You know, probably should think about. But if you go down that rabbit hole, oh my gosh, my mom could go for miles on probably what she'd want. And then by the time we do it, she'd want to change the siding. Then she'd have to do the roof. And, she just is that type of person. Shave hex on a sandwich because I expect them to be scratched. Yeah. Amar didn't wanna, but they always had them in the truck. We'd always ask them, man. We were always constantly asking, "You got touch up paint? You got touch up paint?" Because you always, in a nutshell, you want fresh touch up paint, and or your stuff's getting old, or you just know their door's gonna be damaged, so you're like, "Hey, man, send me some touch up paint." Oh, I remember I did a lot of touch up on Amars. I don't know if they're still doing that, but like I said, I'm sure it's just depends on how people are handling them or how they're stored at the facilities. One thing I seen like with this place, um, like when I went there to go pick up doors a couple times, they had a lot of temp workers. And I'd watch those guys like load up my truck, and I mean, 6, 8 inches, whatever. They just, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, time out, guys. Like, don't be handling those doors like that. Like, you need to set them down. Whoa, whoa, it's just basically lumber. It's like plywood. No, no, no. These ones are faced, back to back, dude. Like, you damage the front. And what always got me is I'm like, you're not the guy out there installing it. And then the wife comes home in her nice business suit in her car, and she's like, that's a nice door, but why's my door got a dent? And you're like, what? Oh my gosh, and then it's what do we do? And yeah, that's not fun. Mm, Could be some people. 3 green intersections, all 3 were scratched. Oh man. Yeah. To talk to her. Tried talking to her out some verse. Her front door had yeah, match, yeah, yeah. Those front doors, man. I tell you, those are um those are always my like when they talk about the front door, it's like my bells are ringing, man. It's like ding 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 ding. It's like alarm, 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 code red, mayday, mayday, mayday. That's what when they start talking about that front door. So I always make sure, we can start out with a brochure. The brochure color will not be good enough. And then we can start out with a paint chip, right? We can start out with paint chips. The paint chip still is not good enough, especially when you're dealing with high end. So now what you need to do is you need to buy it from the vendor, a section, or a sample, the full little sample that has a square in it or whatever. That's the right color. And then we bring that to them and they can put it up next to their door. They can stand back. They can let them hang on to it for a little bit to give them a day or two with it. Just everything still looks good. All right, let's go ahead and get your door ordered. You know what I mean? But if they got any, you know what I mean? Nope. You know what I mean? Because they, like I said, that was not a good time for me when we had a customer we were dealing with. And there must be somebody's dog out their window. I heard a dog barking. Um, but I remember that Mayday call. You know what I mean? When they were, um, you know what I mean? Like the guys call, hey man, this ain't the right color, doesn't match door, and I'm just like, what? I'm already dealing with like 10 other customers and trying to deal with this and figure out whether did the secretary order it wrong? Did the vendor put it in wrong? I think they sent me the wrong door. It's the wrong color. Like they put the wrong stickers on it. And finally, they said they were going to paint their front door. I was like, thank the good Lord. What the hell's out there right now? Thought I seen something moving. Thought maybe we had a Cadillac converter thief. Thought maybe we are going to go see a butt whooping. I think it's just a wind, I think. I see a body, man. You see me get up. Call the police. Call, tell them they'll just need a body bag. Last three something I tried. Talker on a vent. Blinds carpet. Clope was selling front doors and they had so many problems they quit. Oh, dang, man. I thought for sure, Rusty, when you were going to say that, I thought for sure you were going to say, that Clope sells front doors because then they can match them. And I thought, I was going to say, that's actually not a bad idea. You know what I mean? So that way but they had so many problems. Wow. I didn't know that. I remember though, I remember when they were selling front doors and I always kind of was like, yeah, I guess. Like that's always a weird, like I'm not installing them, you know what I mean? But I like, you know what I mean? But it would be nice, like, here's a front door. It's right from the same manufacturer. Maybe it's a good upsell. Like, I don't know. I always felt kind of weird about that. Like, that just sounds like problems, you know? And obviously, Clopay had problems. So I'm glad you brought that up. You know what I mean? That's just, I don't know. That's kind of humorous to me. Like, yeah, I could see that. Like, I just couldn't imagine like how they'd handle doors compared to garage doors, and then how's the packaging, and does it look pretty close, and then like who's going to warranty it to. Phew, man, I don't know. I think about guys installing it, and something slips, and they gouge the door, and then they got to come back to you, and you're like, that's not how it was, and then people are like, that's how you sold it to us. I don't know. I don't know. That's like, I don't know. It's like, might as well do gutters. Yeah, 811. Yeah, call 811. That's right. Freeze, where you been? I've been thinking about you. We got to get you on the channel here. We got to do it soon. Hopefully, maybe we can shoot for next weekend. Give me around next weekend, get you on. I'm just going to give you the mic. I'm going to sit back, let you take it. Because Eric's been getting some ideas. He's got some stuff he wanted to talk about. And I've been so busy. I apologize. I'm tired. You know what I mean? Probably won't even stay out here much longer because, like I said, I gotta get the sleepy pill. I still gotta drive back. I gotta make sure that thing's strapped down. Just in the name of work, trying to get ahead of the schedule. So I don't fail, right? Because if I fail, we fail. If they fail, I fail. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff. Selling them to match. Bad glass was a problem. Also, nobody was measuring correctly. Ooh, too many records and sendbacks. Or reorders. Yeah, sorry, reorders. Yeah, that's a different animal. That's a different animal. And I'm sure some of those guys were trying to do it, you know what I mean? Which I'm not saying, you know what I mean? Like, just mandors are just a different animal, you know what I mean? Because it's like, it's all human. Like, it's like one of the guys, what did he have to do the other day? And I was like, he goes, I think you might have to push the track back in it because I think they were using the track being pushed in to kind of pin the door. And he's telling me this, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I go, so my first thing I go, does it have an opener on it? He goes, no. I went, oh. I said, so it's hand operated? And I'm thinking like, and I know what it is. It's a bolt place. So what they're doing is they're probably going out the door. They don't want to lock it. So they're pulling the cord down and then the door will kind of drift and it kind of wedges itself and it closes it close enough. They don't want a T handle on there because it's kind of semi-commercial. So they're going to beat the door up. They probably got a slide lock in there, but they use it only at nighttime to lock the place up. So I had to explain to Caleb that, hey, one guy pulled the track out, made it loosey goosey, but he was saying he thinks it might kind of have the wrong spring on it. So the door might want to be a little bit hot. So you're going to have to push the track back in to kind of make it stop. He says, because I think that's what they were trying to do with it. So, Probably goes back to a guy that used to work here, and you know, he was probably onto something. But he always was telling me, he constantly was talking about it, and he always said, you know, I'm surprised they don't make like weights for doors. And he always talked about like lead weight or something that you could, you know, it's magnetized or whatever, and you could just stick it in the door, especially like a non-insulated door. And I'm surprised we don't have more something that's been advertised or produced to maybe help balance outdoors a little bit. You know, put a little extra weight on there. You know, and then at least you could take it off, put it on, it's magnetized. Measure not as simple as garage doors, man. Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, you know, I kind of knew. I started getting good enough where I could kind of guess what the casing thickness was. But I tell you what, I really wanted to pull the trim off. You know, what I mean, I wanted to pull the trim off. I wanted to see the rough opening. But you get nicer houses and this and that. You know, you don't want to pull the trim off and then make a mess until you get there, right? You don't want to crack the egg until it's ready to go. So, but you know, I remember I had one. I had it swinging really good, and then this guy called me back, and he's like, I want to show you something, you know. And he's like, look, he's like, I can see like a little bit of daylight, you know. And he's like, you feel that? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, but if I bring the threshold up anymore, I was like, it's gonna drag. Like, it's gonna drag so much, it's probably gonna start like ripping your weather seal. And he was just like, you know, he was a high end dude, and he was just like, he's like, I don't care about that. He's like, if I gotta replace the weather seal every year, that's fine. He's like, I want it to seal. And I'm like, okay. So it's got those adjustable screws on the threshold. So I started bringing it up a little bit, and I mean, I felt like I really had to push on the door, and but that's what he wanted. He was like, that's better. And then they got those little tabs in the corner, so I knew how to manipulate those a little bit to make it so it blocked the light. But I mean, if it showed any light or anything, you know, and you had the door swinging good, you know, then you got to tip stuff certain ways to make it all hit the seal the right way. There's just you know, very human interaction. You got to make the door latch. You know, you got to make it's just there's just so much. I mean, I tear into stuff and I'd be like, oh my god, like there's not a freaking header in this thing. Like you know, it's just drywall and siding and oh well, it's on a you know whatever. I'm not very good with that, but the gable end, you know, so it's a peak. Okay, so it really doesn't need it, but damn, now I ain't got nothing up here for structure. You know what I mean? How what am I gonna do? Like you know, if I do this and I can't get it with the siding, you know, there's just so many variables to it. We used to do a lot of commercial ones too for some of our commercial customers. And man, you get into some and they fill up this right here, you know, the side casing. They fill it up with concrete when they're building the building. They put the jams in, they fill them up with mud. Oh, does that make a mess? You got some that got rebar sticking out in them. So you're cutting and grinding and trying to, you know, then you start smacking it. You think, oh, I'll just break it off. Boom, it takes off a chunk of concrete, you know, the block. And you're like, oh my gosh, like how are we gonna fix that? It's just super labor. Like to me, I'd look at it now and I would just be like, you want me to do a mandor? It's time and material. Like I'm not bidding it. It's gonna be time. I'll give you a bid. It's gonna be super high. Otherwise, you might as well just do time and material. You know what I mean? Because it's just not gonna happen. And the doors, I think you know, I talked to the guy for these handles. You know, because we were buying these doors. Shoot, they were like I think they're like 12, $1,400 for the door. Then you got to buy a handle, which is like 300, $400. And the guy was saying that the reason they're so expensive, supposedly, is that you're buying the engineering. You know what I mean? Because they have to put them through so many rigorous tests, and they have to pat you know for fire and stuff and safety whatever. And they're built better, I guess. But whoo man, just every time you buy the stuff and buy the hardware, buy the hinges, it was just expensive, and then get out there to install it. You need to have really good craftsmanship. You know, man, garage doors are just way more forgiving. Keep me posted. What's it got? Garage doors and man door don't mix. Yeah, seen man doors swing into the radius. Yeah, yeah. Door or the panel. Yeah, it's. Yep. This says I had a guy had weighed his door. He was having problems with his jack shaft throwing cables. But let's see, real problem was weather seal. Tell, and it was rubbing so much. Yeah, that's true. Well, it's like some of those old timers. I've had some old guys. I remember, man, they would what was it? I remember just a couple old timers, man. I need a bigger opener, and I'm like, you need a spring. Nope. I need it, need a bigger garage door opener. I need a 3/4 horse. Yeah, and they were just bound determined. So it's like I think I had one out there. The guy was so bound determined. I got him a 3/4 horse, but I bid it so high I could change the spring. So I put a spring on it. I did his 3/4 horse, and see, I told you. Yep, you sure did, and you're gonna pay for it. But I couldn't tell him nothing. You know. Yeah, I need a 5. That's why it's always weird with these new motors, how they're rating them. I think they finally get to it. It's kind of like when it seems like that light bulbs were coming out. They'd say like lumens, and I'd be like, I don't know how many lumens. I just need a watts. And then finally, it was like they seemed like they started drifting back over to the watts. Like they'd say it's comparable to a 40 watt, or comparable to a 60 watt, or comparable to a And I was like, okay, now I can understand that. Like I can relate. 100 watt used to be pretty bright. Get kind of hot. This supposedly doesn't get so hot, so I can put a 100 watt in. But I think that's what they're doing with these DCs now, in my opinion. Ooh. Well, you guys, I think it's probably about that time. Unless you got super duper something. I hope you guys have a good week. Rich, have you anything going this week for you? Anything in the pipeline? Residential? If you talk to uh your boy Kevin at all, is what do we got? May 1st? Oh, we're already in May. We placed our order. I don't know if we got the hit. It was man. He shoot make a order Monday. He delivers on a Thursday. Sure can't beat that. Um, so didn't get to talk to the driver. Wasn't here, so I don't know what they're seeing in their market. If things been seem like uh how many Newton pounds? It's funny because when you said that, I'm thinking those. I think the big thing with kids right now is I think they're called niddles. I don't know if anybody's heard about them, niddles. And so we got a place. It's a small toy place in a town over, and I'll take the kids there because they love. That's like the new trendy thing. I think they're niddles is what they're called. These rubbery, squishy things. Whatever. But they run out all the time. I can't believe it. So it is what it is. All right, guys, I'm heading out. Freeze, you have a good night, sir. We'll get together soon. Two 9x7s and operators. Nice. I have two doors coming in Wednesday. Ooh, look at this. Sandstone 3640, 3690. Both new openers. All right, all right. Uncle D, think about LiftMaster 1865. Also, still install a lot of LiftMasters. We do. I mean, we've been having a lot of wall button problems, wall station issues, but yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, 1860 time trailer. Anything LiftMaster. Some of the old ones were good, but a lot of the new stuff, but we still do them. Just depends on what the customer wants. If they want real high tech, they get high tech. And they pay for it. And sometimes they pay for it 2 or 3 times. But it is what it is. Special order coming in Thursday. Nice. 8165. 16 the keypad. Oh, delivered, dude. Rusty, you need to hang out with us old guys. We don't run for stuff anymore. We get delivered, man. He gets it delivered to the job site, tears out, has him bring it in, delivered, man. He's got he's got employees. You know what I mean? Not really on his payroll, just helpers that he paid for with product. I don't know. You're like, who did that? Who used to do that? Somebody used to do that. Was that a WWE type thing or wrestling? Who used to do that thing? Or what was that? What was that? Who did that? I can't remember who did that. We missed Papa Tony. I don't know. He must be busy. Is my guess. He's probably busy. I know he was talking about he. I think he's struggling a little bit with. He needs a secretary. I think he'd like to have Paige come in. Um, so I mentioned something about maybe Jill's office, some AI stuff. I don't really have a good solution for that, but it's tough, man. He's growing. He's got the vans now. He's got some product and inventory. He's got an employee or two. It's tough. I know, man. It's tough when you start from scratch. It is tough, and you're trying to grow, and then you got all this. You can have problems and resistance, and it's tough. It's tough. It's not fun sometimes. It is not fun. Sometimes you wonder what the hell you're doing, and I don't think he has don't think he has a taste for alcohol, which is good, and I don't really either. But I tell you what, if I did, because there's sometimes you can't shut it off. You're just like, I don't want to think about this anymore, and um, yeah. Uh, 25 door getting delivered. Nice. $10, $10. Give them a little. I always think about giving them sometimes just to be nice. I don't know how that works though in other states. I thought about getting them some lotto tickets. I always like giving, I give it to employees, I give it to vendors, I give it to delivery guys. I give lotto tickets, and I'm like, but if they're in a different state, is that kind of screwed up? Like if they win, they just got to come back over the border, or you know what I mean? Like I hate to give them one, and they're like, I want it. Damn it! I don't live in that. I don't know how exactly it works, so I guess I could Google it. You as well, Burke. Later, Burke. Mm, yes, lots of nuts to crack. That's so true. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you guys have a great week. Hope you have a safe week. Hope everybody stays healthy. Do some praying for Burke and for everyone else. I hope you guys have a good one. We'll see you on the next one. Let me know if you got anything. Email me, text me, all that good stuff. Got pictures? Always send the pictures. I always love it. Like I said, you're never going to disturb me because my phone's always on silent. So if I don't answer back, I'm probably taking a nap. I'm probably in a piece of equipment. I'm probably up on a lift, up way high in the sky. I'm probably sleeping. Who knows? So send them. We'll see you later.